New Black Wall Street Book Club. Evan Jefferson, brother, much love. Educating, elevating, because in knowledge is the power and we'll never give it up. Literature's for the masses. Where to put your money down, not how to watch your assets. Yeah, uplifting others is a passion. My brother Evan, he will turn it into action. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You should come read with us. Yeah, we comprehend and discuss. We all just come together. There's no limit for us. Here comes your host, New Black Wall Street. Evan, take it away. New Black Wall Street Book Club.
All right, my beautiful people, thanks so much for tuning in. This is ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, founder of New Black Wall Street, and we are back here with your New Black Wall Street Book Club, going through the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. We're on to law number 37. I know. It's been a few days. I don't know when was the last time we did one, but we are back. We got to get through this book so we can move on to the next. I can't wait to get to the next book, but we are going to complete this book. We are going to do that, so that's just what we're going to do. Anyway, I want to bring you up to speed on a couple things that are going on this week in Club Millie. We do have our how to buy stock for kids class coming up on Saturday. A lot of people are interested, but we still don't have many registrations, so there's a problem. There's a problem in the Connect. A lot of people want this class to go down, but it's going to be up to you guys to register. So we do have a few people that are joined. You can go ahead and click that link in the comments below and go ahead and join us on Saturday so you can learn how you can buy your kids stock, right? Because at the end of the day, man, we got to teach our kids early what we learn late. And also we have the opportunity for you to join us for the Dow 30 investment session on Wednesday. That's going to be geared towards a beginner. That person is just beginning to learn how to invest. And so you can join us on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about companies that you're familiar with, companies like Nike, Apple, Disney, Walmart. What we do is we go through these companies to find investment opportunities. So as we get started with our investment club, we will already have our watch list. So if you're a person saying, hey, I don't know anything about investing, and you're saying you want to learn, well, Wednesday is where you want to be, and you have no excuse. At the end of the day, you either show up or you don't. You can't say the opportunity wasn't available to you. What's going on, Wendy B? The newlywed is in the building. Thanks so much for joining. Now, I don't have any other announcements I need to make or anything I need to introduce. No, we're just going to get right into it because this is going to be a long chapter, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let's see if we get through this. We're going through the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Again, 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Now, here's the deal, guys. This is a very controversial book, but it's something I want you to understand. The reason why we're going through this because this book has a lot of strategy. Everybody put in the comments below strategy. Has a lot of strategy. So here's what you do. Number one, you're going to learn how to apply the law to your life, right? You want to learn how to apply the law, but then also you want to learn when the law is being applied against you. And if you do either one of those, you'll always find yourself operating from a position of power. This is what's going on. We need to understand how these people are strategizing against us. And so that's why we read the books that they don't want us to read. Change the way that you think. You'll change results in your life. What's going on, Carvel? Thanks so much for joining. Brandon in the building. Mr. Grant, what's up? Hey, so law number 37, create compelling spectacles. Create compelling spectacles. And I think you'll find as we go through this law here that this happens to the Black community all the time. Here's your judgment. Striking imagery and grand symbolic gestures create the aura of power. Striking imagery and grand symbolic gestures create the aura of power. Everyone responds to them. Stage spectacles for those around you, then full of arresting visuals and radiant symbols that heighten your presence. Dazzled by appearances, no one will notice what you are really doing. Dazzled by appearances, no one will know what you're really doing. Now, I got a lot that I can say about this. But I'm going to try my best not to step on nobody's toes, because whenever I start talking about stuff like this, people just think, they look at me like I'm crazy. But I understand that we're all fooled by what we see. We're fooled by what we see. It says dazzled by appearances. It's the appearance, or what we call the illusion of freedom, the illusion of choice, the illusion of power. All these things are illusions. Because we are dazzled by appearances, no one really notices what we are really doing, what they're really doing to us. I could go forever just talking about this one point, but let's get right into what's going on so we get a little bit better understanding of this law of creating compelling spectacles. Now, here's your keys to power. Using words to plead your case is risky business. Words are dangerous instruments and often go astray. The words people use to persuade usually virtually invite us to reflect on them with words of our own. We mull them over and often end up believing the opposite of what they say. This is a part of the perverse nature. It also happens that words offend us, stirring up associations unintended by the speaker. The visual, on the other hand, everybody put in the comments below the visual. The visual, on the other hand, short circuits the labyrinth of words. It strikes with an emotional power and immediacy that leave no gaps for reflection and doubt. Like music, it leaps right over rational, reasonable thoughts. Imagine the moon doctor trying to make a case for his medical practice, trying to convince the unconverted by telling them about the healing powers of the moon and about his own special connection to a distant object in the sky. Fortunately for him, he was able to create a compelling spectacle that made words unnecessary. The moment his patients entered the beer hall, the image of the moon spoke eloquently enough. Understand, words put you on the defensive. If you have to explain yourself, your power is already in question. If you have to explain yourself, your power is already in question. Now, here's what I want you to think about for those that are watching right now. There may have been some things that you've been trying to convince other people about. Some things that you know. Let's just say you know that this is the right path. This is the right answer. This is what needs to happen. But for many people, I always say this, for many people, they have to see it to believe it. So they have to see it to believe. So for those of you who are this, I hope I'm talking to the leaders right now. I'm talking to the people who are leading a group of people. They have to see it to believe it. See, there's a reason why they have to see it to believe it, because 90% of people are followers. So they're following what they see. Right? Think about Jesus, for example. He had to do miracles, signs, and wonders. They had to see. They couldn't just believe. See, it's the leader who believes, and it's the leader who has to show so that the followers can see, and then they'll believe. I repeat that again. It's the leaders who have to believe, and the leaders have to show in order to get the followers to see so that they'll believe later. Right? So you have to understand that you can do what we can do. All the talking that we want. That's why I'm shutting up at this point. I've been told people about Club Millie for long enough. I'm not saying nothing else. I'm just going to show you. Right? I'm just going to show you day in and day out. Right? And then you're going to come. You go, oh, that's what you was talking about. Yeah, we were talking about that. On the 15th, when I put this piece of paper up, that's going to say we are an official club. I can guarantee you're going to have a flood of people that's joining us right then and there. Right? They have to see it to believe. Then they're going to be like, man, I did not know what was going on. You didn't tell me about that. You've been telling about it for 3 weeks. They have to see it to believe it. So leaders, those that are leaders, don't stress yourself out. Just understand that most people are followers and they follow what they see. They do not follow faith. They follow what they see. They have to see it to believe it. Woo! Am I done? Oh, no, I'm not done yet. All right. Understand, words put you on the defensive. If you have to explain yourself, your power is already in question. The image, on the other hand, imposes itself as a given. It discourages questions, creates forceful associations, resists unintended interpretations, communicates instantly, and forges bonds that transcend social differences. This is why most organizations, they always want to have some type of logo or some symbol. It always represents something. They always have to have a visual that connects people, because words don't always connect. Words stir up arguments and divisions. Images bring people together. Everybody put it in the comments below. Images brings people together. Images brings people together. And if that's true, I want you to ask yourself right now, what image have you presented or do you represent that's bringing people together? They are the quintessential instruments of power. The symbol has the same force, whether it is the visual, the statue of Diana, or a verbal description of something visual, the words, the Sun King. The symbolic object stands for something else, something abstract, such as the image Diana standing for chastity. The abstract concept, purity, patriotism, courage, love, is full of emotional and powerful associations. The symbol is a shortcut of expression. The symbol is a shortcut of expression. That's right, Van Slide, the animals. Contains dozens of meanings in one simple phrase or subject. The symbol of the Sun King, as explained by Louis XIV, can be read on many layers. But the beauty of it is that its associations required no explanation, spoke immediately to the subjects, distinguished him from all other kings, and conjured up a kind of majesty that went far beyond the words themselves. The symbol contains untold power. The symbol contains untold power. So I want to think about all of these big corporations. They all have a symbol that is recognized by the masses. And that symbol says something about that corporation's brand, says something about the way in which that corporation does business. It's the symbol. It's not what everyone says per se, but the image brings people together and brings recognition to that particular corporation or company, right? What image brings recognition to your brand? What image brings recognition to your brand? The first step in using symbols and images is to understand the primacy of sight among senses. Sight among the senses. Before the Renaissance, it had been argued sight and the other senses, taste, touch, and so on, operate on a relatively equal plane. Since then, however, the visual has come to dominate the others and is the sense we most depend on and trust. As Greene said, the truth is generally seen, rarely heard. The truth is generally seen, rarely heard. When the Renaissance painter Fra Filippo Lippo was a captured slave among the Moors, he won his freedom by sketching a drawing of his master on a white wall with a piece of charcoal. When the owner saw the drawing, he instantly understood the power of a man who could make such images and let Fra Lippo go. The one image was far more powerful than any argument the artist could have made with words. Now, I want you guys to understand that because images are so powerful, and because we want to understand this law in order for us to always operate in power, then I must ask you at this point in time, what do you watch on TV? Do you think that you are so mature and so old at this point that the images that come across the television into your face do not have an impact on you? Do you believe that you can just brush it off and that is mindless activity and it has no effect on you at all? These images that are being shown and propagated in front of you on a regular basis because you choose to allow those images to be in front of you. Do you not think that they have some impact on your emotional stability and why sometimes you wake up feeling one way and one way you wake up feeling another way? Do you not think the images that come across your pathway have something to do with it? Images. Images. Be so powerful. Never neglect the way you arrange things visually. Factors like color, for example, have enormous symbolic resonance. When the con artist Yellow Kid Whale created a newsletter touting the phony stocks he was peddling, he called it the Red Letter Newsletter and had it printed at considerable expense in red ink. The color created a sense of urgency, power, and good fortune. We'll recognize details like these as keys to deception, as do modern advertisers and mass marketers. If you use gold in the title of anything you're trying to sell, for example, print it in gold. Since the eye predominates, people will respond more to the color than to the word. So now we're getting into do you understand marketing in such a way that you recognize what colors you should and should not use when it comes to what you're putting out? Do you understand this thing called marketing and how the color schemes, the colors which you choose to use, have an impact on how people are going to respond to your particular marketing? Advertisers, mass marketers do it all the time. Matter of fact, in May, we're going to have a marketing class coming up in Club Millie, right, to teach you about color schemes and what these colors represent and how a particular color can make a person feel a particular way. Color scheme. Do you understand it, and are you using it to elicit the type of response that you like in your advertising? Color scheme. Most effective of all is a new combination, a fusion of images and symbols that have not been seen together before, but through their association clearly demonstrate your new idea, your message, or religion. The creation of new images and symbols out of old ones is a way. It is in this way has a poetic effect. Viewers' associations run rampant, giving them a sense of participation. Visual images often appear in a sequence, and the order in which they appear creates a symbol. The first to appear, for instance, symbolizes power. The image at the center seems to have the central importance. Near the end of World War II, orders came down from General Eisenhower that American troops were to lead the way into Paris after his liberation from the Nazis. The French General Charles de Gaulle, however, realized that this sequence would imply that Americans now commanded the fate of France. Through much manipulation, de Gaulle made certain that he and the French 2nd Armored Division would appear at the head of the liberating force. The strategy worked. After he had successfully pulled off his stunt, the Allies started treating him as the new leader of an army of an independent France. De Gaulle knew that a leader has to locate himself literally at the head of his troops. Yeah, I know I'm breaking up. I don't know what's going on. All right, that's cool. This visual association is crucial to the emotional response that he needed to elicit. Things change in the game of symbols. It is probably no longer possible to pose as a Sun King or to wrap the mantle of Diana around you. Yet you can associate yourself with such symbols more indirectly. And of course, you can make your own mythology out of the figures for more recent history. People who are comfortably dead but still powerfully associative in the public eye. The idea is to give yourself an aura. Everybody put in the comments below aura. To give yourself an aura, a stature that your normal banal appearance simply will not create. By herself, Diane de Poitiers has no such radiant power. She was as human and ordinary as most of us, but the symbol elevated her above the human lot and made her seem divine. Using symbols also has a courtier-like effect, since they are often gentler than brutish words. The psychotherapist Dr. Milton H. Erickson always tried to find symbols and images that would communicate to the patient in ways that words could not. When dealing with a severely troubled patient, he would not question him directly, but would talk about something irrelevant, such as driving through the desert in Arizona, where he practiced in the 1950s. In describing this, he would eventually come to an appropriate symbol for what he suspected was the man's problem. If he felt the patient was isolated, say Dr. Erickson would talk of a single ironwood tree and how its isolation left it battered by the winds. Making an emotional connection with the tree as a symbol, the patient would open up more readily to the doctor's probing. Use the power of symbols as a way to rally, animate, and unite your troops or team. Now, use the power of symbols. This is important for us to understand, because this is what happens all the time in marches and protests and rallies. They always find some central symbol to rally the troops around so they can go off and march. You know, they always got the symbol on all their t-shirts. They got the symbol on their banners. It is a symbol that is going to rally the troops per se. So this always happens. Historically, right? The flags used to be when they go to war in Rome and all those areas. So it was a symbol. The flag is a symbol. The American flag is just a symbol. The Statue of Liberty is just a symbol. But people rally around symbols. During a rebellion against the French crown in 1648, those loyal to the king disparaged the rebels by comparing them to the slingshots in French France. That little boys used to frighten big boys. Cardinal de Retz decided to turn this disparaging term into the rebel symbol. The uprising was now known as the Fronde, and the rebels as frondeurs. They began to wear sashes in their hats that symbolized the slingshot, and the word became their rallying cry. Without it, the rebellion might well have petered out. Always find a symbol to represent your cause. The more emotional associations, the better. The more emotional associations, the better. The best way to use images and symbols is to organize them into a grand spectacle that awes people and distracts them from unpleasant realities. This is easy to do. People love what is grand, what is spectacular, and what is larger than life. People love what is grand, what is spectacular, and what is larger than life. This is why people like WWE. This is why people are, and like them or not, this is why people are fond of Donald Trump. People love what is grand, what is spectacular, and what is larger than life. Appeal to their emotions, and they will flock to your spectacle in hordes. The visual is the easiest route to their hearts. The visual is the easiest route to their hearts. Now, here's the image, guys. Here's what you want to imagine as it relates to law number 37, which is create compelling spectacles. It's the cross and the sun. Crucifixion and total radiance. With one imposed over the other, a new reality takes shape. A new power is in the ascendant. The symbol, no explanation necessary. No explanation necessary. Now it says here, as far as a reversal is concerned, it says no power is made available by ignoring images and symbols. There is no possible reversal to this law. There's no possible reversal to this law. Well, guys, we just finished law number 37 as we're going through the 48 laws of power. Again, law number 37 is this: create compelling spectacles. Dazzled by appearances, no one will notice what you are really doing. And this continues to happen time and time again to the Black community. We are always following the dangling carrot and not really seeing what's really going on behind the scenes. Well, I think as we learn a little bit more about this law, that we'll begin, our eyes will begin to open and see what's really going on with these leaders of ours and with the world itself. Let's just put it that way. Well, this is ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator. Again, on Wednesday, we'll have our Dow 30 investment session. And on Saturday, we'll be having a class to teach parents how to buy stock for the kids. Want to go ahead and get signed up for that. We have to move beyond. We got to be a people that's going to move beyond being interested in building wealth. And we must become a people that are committed to building wealth. And I believe as we do that, we will rebuild Black Wall Street. Well, guys, I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village, but it starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. You guys have a good day.
It's the new Black Wall Street Book Club. With your host, Evan Jefferson. It's time for us to go. Yeah. Now you ain't got to leave.